Hello, I'm Adam Pachisi from Cultaholic.com, and who the hell are you?
Me?
You?
Me? I'm Andrew. It's me. I'm editor Andrew from
I've
Cultaholic.com.
never seen you before in my life, mate.
You keep us in dungeon, that's why, pal.
You just balled me. I hate it. This is horrible. Well, everybody, please welcome Andrew Hodkinson to his first ever news video. He's a little bit nervous. He told me before, but he's going to be absolutely grand. You might have seen Andrew on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Cultaholic. Here he is on the news. It's very exciting, and I think it's only fair that our audience learn a little bit about you. So I prepared a bit of a Q&A, Andrew, before we get into the news itself. So Andrew, just the questions that everybody wants to know the answers to. What's your favorite Travis song?
I think you already know. I don't really listen to Travis.
Okay, have you ever been to the Isle of Wight? And if so, what did you think about
it? No, never been.
Okay, what's your favorite thing about working at Cultaholic with me, your boss?
I thought we said you were going to ask questions about
supportive, friendly environment.
Yeah, yes.
And finally, how big do you think my tallywhack, my todger, is?
You said we weren't going to talk about this again.
Just say what I told you to say. Massive, just mad. Everybody, welcome Andrew to the news. Let's take a look at the headline, shall we? We have backstage details on Sting's AEW signing. An AEW Impact Wrestling relationship has been announced, and former Impact Wrestling stars have signed with WWE. We'll tell you more in a bit. So we are kicking off with huge news. Following a huge episode of AEW Dynamite last night, titled Winter is Coming. And winter wasn't the only thing that was coming, because it was such a great episode. And another person who was coming to our screens, Sting, making his AEW debut. Absolutely huge. Andrew, tell us what went down.
Oh, well, let me tell you. So there was a tag match last night between Darby Allin and Cody Rhodes and Ricky Starks and Will Hobbs. Team Taz, whoa, coming at you. So after the match, so Cody and Allin win the match. After the match, Team Taz, they're getting in there, beating down the Nightmare family, and just as Big Will Hobbs, he's got the belt, he's got the FTW belt, he's about to clock Cody around head, but hey, what happens? Lights dim down. What's going on here?
Hey up!
Oh, hey up! Oh, it's going mental. Lights dim down. What happens? Oh, it's snowing. The snowy mountains. I'm setting the scene, Adam. There's snowy mountains everywhere. The snow in the actual arena. Boom, on the Titantron. Sting, who's there? He's outside. He's here. It's blooming Sting is here. He comes out. He chases, Team Taz has gone by now, chases them off because they're scared. Oh, it's big Sting, this lad. He comes into the ring.
That's 60 years old, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
He's not quite that old.
I mean, he's getting there now, though.
He's got the bat with him, hasn't he?
He's got the bat. He's going into the ring and he stares down each member of the Nightmare family with, and he especially stares down Mr. Darby Allin there for a little bit. So
interesting.
And then also following the commercial break, Jim Ross announced that Tony Khan signed Sting full-time, multi-year contract, and it was announced. It was later announced in the night that he's going to speak on next week's Dynamite. So that's what went down.
Interesting stuff. So we don't know the exact length of Sting's multi-year contract, but various places are reporting 3 years. So expect him to be around for a little bit, that's for sure. Really exciting stuff. And we got the backstage reaction to Sting's AEW debut. This is courtesy of Fightful Select. And they say, in the initial moments after his surprise AEW appearance, every AEW wrestler we've heard from say that they had no idea that Sting was coming to the company. The initial reaction we got from talent has been shock and excitement, with none of them hearing about it until he was backstage right before the spot. So it sounds like they kept him hidden away, perhaps in the rafters. He wasn't seen around the venue this afternoon. He must have. He was up there, he was watching the whole show. We've seen it before. And they say we've since heard from another name in All Elite Wrestling that they've heard about the signing for a while. So it wasn't a complete surprise to everyone on the roster. This has been rumored for some time, since WWE Sting's contract, his legend contract with WWE expired. He decided not to renew. They pulled all his merch off WWEshop.com, and now here he is. And he's already got a bloody T-shirt with AEW, so you can buy that right now. What do you want to see Sting do in AEW, Andrew?
Well, I mean, obviously he can't wrestle anymore. That's the main thing. So I guess...
Thanks, Seth.
Maybe I personally see him. I see quite a few parallels between him and Darby Allin. And with him staring down Darby quite a lot at the end of that segment, I would really like to see sort of like what Arn does for Cody in the managerial role sort of thing, being at his side, like during the matches and stuff. I'd personally like to see that between Darby and Sting as well. I think that'd be really cool.
You took that as Sting scouting him out.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then maybe somewhere down the line we get another sort of like a Darby and Cody thing and a Sting and Arn sort of parallel thing.
Well, that's the thing. Like with you've got Arn, obviously, you've got Tully, you've got Taz, three of the best talkers in wrestling of all time. You wouldn't put Sting in that same category. I don't think he's necessarily going to be the strongest mouthpiece, although he's not a bad talker or anything. I'm not slagging the guy off. But just the name value of Sting alone, I saw so many. I had a quick search on Twitter and I saw so many casual fans, people who haven't watched wrestling in a long time, getting excited about Sting being back on the telly, despite the fact that he's not going to have a match again. People are really excited, and it's huge name value, and a multi-year contract is really, really cool. I can't wait to hear what he says next week or what he does next week. Come on,
It's coming straight down from rafters. He's coming straight down. He's doing it again.
They do stuff right, don't they, in AEW? With like the production in AEW, on the zip line. Maybe it's too soon. Make us wait. Right. Next up, a big title change last night. Probably should have warned you about spoilers before the Sting story, but there you go. I think everybody knows what happened on last night's AEW Dynamite as Kenny Omega defeated Jon Moxley in the main event to become the new AEW World Champion. But there's even more to it than that. Andrew, give us a recap.
So Moxley, we're on the outside. They're scrapping on the outside. Moxley gets Omega in a paradigm shift, and then paradigm shifts him into the heaters, which, first of all, right, that looks like it hurt because it's a hard thing. But there's Tony Schiavone going, yeah, that hurts because they're hot, them, aren't they? Like,
fair point.
All right, then, Tony. Well, fair enough, Tony. Big Tone. All right, I'll give you that one. But actually, as all the refs come round to sort of check on Omega, because it looks like he's actually hit his head quite hard on the floor. All the refs come out. Don Callis, he's on commentary. He gets off the commentary desk, comes over to see if Kenny's all right. Moxley comes back out and he throws Omega back into the ring again, dealing some stiff strikes to Omega in the head. Just like that.
Yo ho, fire's right for me.
And Don Callis, who's still at the commentary desk, he gets on the apron. He starts. He gets a mic and he's trying to tell the ref, "Look, he's hurt. He's hurt." He tries to tap. He's like, "Moxley, pal, excuse me, but my friend Kenny Omega is hurt on the floor there." And he goes to tap him on the shoulder, but Mox, poof, one of them. Just one of them right in head. And he falls down, drops the mic. So as the ref is checking on Don on the apron, Kenny picks up the mic, straight in head, just like that to Mox, straight between the eyes. Mox is bleeding, and then that opens up Moxley for a lot of V triggers, and then a one-winged angel for the 1, 2, 3, and surprises! It looks like Don was in on this the whole time. He comes in, he gives the belt to Omega. He's proper happy. Yeah, it's going on. Yeah, come on, we got to run now. So they run off backstage. We see them run through the backstage to a car. An interviewer comes out and says, "What's going on? What's going on?" And then Don is like, "You will find out on Tuesday." I think if he was like, "Dynamite's on Wednesday, pal. You've got it all wrong. You've got your timeline wrong." And he's going, "Impact Wrestling will tell you. Me and Omega are going to tell you what's happened on Tuesday." Like, boof. That is insane.
I'm absolutely, but you know what? I'm really buzzing for Impact Wrestling, who have been putting on quality shows for such a long time. I've been lucky enough to do the live streams for some of the Impact's recent pay-per-views. and they are really putting out a quality product that not enough people are watching. And you've got to believe that this is going to significantly increase their viewership. Big names and big potential crossovers and matches, dream matches. If this is a proper working relationship, not just a one-off, which you've got to obviously believe it is, it appears that some people, Impact in the Impact locker room, didn't know jack about this. With Jordan Grace tweeting last night, ha 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 ha, I'm just finding this out now. This is dope as hell. Let's go. And then she's tagging a few of the AEW women's roster, Penelope Ford there, Hikaru Shida, Nyla Rose and Britt Baker. Also, Sami Callihan tweeting, does Impact Wrestling have your attention now? This Tuesday, shh, gets real. Can't say it. He's very, very naughty. He's actually censored himself. He's put a little asterisk there. Good on him. And then Dax Harwood from FTR simply tweeting, the North. Yes, please. And speaking of dream matches, Andrew, let's throw some around, shall we? Who do you want to see? A dream Impact versus AEW roster match? Could happen.
It could. I have a few. I'd really like to see. Obviously, now we have, even though it was kind of sort of speculated they were going to AEW, but they didn't. We've got Gallows and Anderson in Impact now, and they've got the belts. I would love to see them and the Young Bucks, also the AEW Tag Champions,
nice,
collide together. I'd really like to see that because I mean, there's Bullet history Club there. Yeah, exactly. There's history with the Bullet Club and stuff, and we've seen that. Like, obviously, the Young Bucks, you know, they've got good rapport with pretty much any team they get together with, and obviously Gallows and Anderson, bigger boys than those boys, but I think they did really well together. I'd love to see, because they've got kind of similar. I mean, they look spooky. We've got Abaddon and Sue Young. I'd like to see that. Would I be able to watch it? Don't know. Too scary for me.
You know what you were mentioning earlier about Sting and Darby Allin? Now you mention it, Abaddon and Sting would be class as well. That'd be a bit unexpected. I'd really like to see that. No, I like it. You got one more?
I got one more. I mean, it seems like it's like Clash of the Champions I've got going in here, but I'd like to see Rich Swann and Omega as well. I think that'd be really good. Both like really high octane fighters. I think they'd pull out a really, really cool storyline through the matches and stuff. And yeah, I'd just really like to see that. I think it would be good. What's yours, lad? Go on. Yeah.
The one that immediately sprang to mind, I don't have three, but it's one from a tweet that I just read there, is Sami Callihan versus Moxley, without a doubt. It's such an obvious one. But actually, it feels like maybe they've even positioned for that to happen, because that may not have happened had Moxley retained the world title yesterday. That doesn't necessarily strike me as a world title match, like Sami challenging for the AEW belt, but just as a singles, with obviously some barbed wire and light tubes and weed whackers and heaters at ringside, obviously.
Too hot, you can't use them. Far too hot, not allowed.
I'd love to see it, but I'm buzzing about this. I think it's so great, and Impact have just been working their asses off, and it feels like it's finally happening for them. So I can't wait for Tuesday. Next up, we've got some exciting COVID news, courtesy of Fightful Select, and this relates to an NXT star who's apparently tested positive for COVID-19. However, they are reporting that there's not the same amount of concern attached to it compared to previous wrestlers testing positive, as it hasn't led to an outbreak. We don't know who this wrestler is, but what the report did state, that the wrestler isn't known to be around large crowds of people, so they're not especially worried about it. And apparently it also won't impact on NXT War Games, which is of course taking place this Sunday. And that leads us on to a really nice story for WWE, doesn't it, Andrew? So congratulations to them for this.
It certainly does. I think they deserve a round of applause for this one. WWE has won an award for Best COVID-19 Awareness Campaign. How? Can we just take a moment, please? Let's be silent now. Let's just. I don't understand how this has happened, but anyway.
I do.
Well, yeah, exactly. Let me read to you a little bit. You ready? You tucked in? You ready for a bit of reading? Oh, good lad. WWE has been honoured with an award for its COVID-19 awareness campaign in partnership with AmeriCares. The two companies have been in partnership since 2007 for various public health and awareness campaigns including the Be a Star Bullying Prevention Program and the UNICEF Kid Power school visits. For the coronavirus pandemic, WWE has sold numerous face masks and neck garters in support of Americares, and their efforts were rewarded at the recent Synopsis Digital Model D Awards.
Which I watched live, and I've got to tell you, it was a fantastic show. I chose that over the over AEW Dynamite last night. They actually beat out 5 other nominees for the award. WWE taking home the trophy there. So yeah, really, really good job. Obviously, let's not mention the fact that WWE has been singled out by the state of Florida as a hotbed for COVID infections. We don't need to mention that, and I haven't just done so. Well done, Vince and co. You've done us proud. And that leads us nicely on also to, we just mentioned it there, the fact that this COVID test, the positive test, won't affect NXT TakeOver War Games. A new match was announced last night, and it's a big one again. It's going to be brutal, this. It's Tommaso Champa taking on Timothy Thatcher. That's going to take place. And the card has been finalized. That is the 5th and final match for the event. Andrew, do you want to run down the card? I keep looking in the wrong camera. I've got 2 cameras here. Sorry, I'm there. Go on,
I'm here.
Andrew.
Look at me. So we've got, first of all, I'm quite disappointed you didn't say War Games as...
Oh my God.
Say it
Do
now.
it for War Games!
War Games! There we go.
I'm really good at that.
Oh, thanks. I've been practicing.
Do it in your proper, your Lancashire accent, your Yorkshire accent.
War Games. We've gone to War Games. We're off to War Games, lads. Are you
Beagle's
ready?
getting sacked in the morning.
Oh.
They're getting Hodkinson in.
Can't believe you called me from Lancashire there.
Yeah, I apologise. That was...
Some of that. You'll get some of that later on. Anyway, let me run down this card. I'm chatting rubbish now. Let me run down this card for you. Are you ready? Stiff strikes. We've got, so the War Games, the men's War Games match, we've got the Undisputed Era versus Team Pat McAfee. So we've got Pat McAfee in there. We've got Pete Dunne, Oney Lorcan, and Danny Burch. I'm excited for that. I think that's going to be a really good one. Then we've got the women's War Games match. We've got Shotzi Blackheart. We've got Ember Moon, Rhea Ripley, and NXT Women's Champion Io Shirai going up against Team Candice, who's Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez, and Toni Storm. I think that's going to be really good.
Pretty
as well.
stacked, 2 stacked matches there.
And then we've got NXT North American Championship match. He's going to defend it. Leon Ruff, he's going to defend it against Johnny Gargano and Damian Priest in a triple threat match. I think that's got potential to be really good as well. We've got a strap match. It's Dexter Loomis versus Cameron Grimes. He's got nowhere to go. He can't go straight to Moon. He's trapped.
I can't wait for this. This is the match that I'm perhaps most excited about, just because I think they're the 2 best characters in NXT. I loved what they did at Halloween Havoc.
Yeah.
I thought it was one of the best cinematic matches of the year. Loomis is just consistently fascinating to watch. And Cameron Grimes, I got worked with Cameron Grimes, right? I hated him at first because I thought, oh man, this guy's really annoying. That's the point, Adam, you dickhead. How long have you been watching wrestling?
Exactly.
He's so good at his job. He's
incredible. And that storyline that's been slowly building, like you said, through Halloween Havoc and stuff, up to this, and then Grimes being like, "Oh, I'm not scared of him, but I am scared of him. Even a bag doesn't help this out." Like, this is gonna be really fun. And maybe, I don't know if they'll introduce maybe some of the cinematic elements somehow, or if it'll just be a straight strap match. Like, I'm not entirely sure, but I am excited to find out. And I think, did you say it before? I'm not even sure, but the final match that's been announced is Champa versus Timothy Thatcher.
Oh, lovely. Lovely stuff there. So I will be doing live reactions to that on Sunday night, so do check those out. But before we get there, I'm going to put you on the spot here, Andrew.
Okay.
It's not for the belt, this one, but do you fancy doing predictions for the first time ever?
Oh my God.
Oh
what? Seriously?
Yeah.
Yes, please. That would be incredible.
Oh,
yes, oh
there
my
you go.
goodness.
It's a huge scoop. We're making our own news here on the Cultaholic Morning News. So you'll see Andrew for the first time, and he's gonna batter everyone. He's certainly gonna batter me because I'm rubbish. Next up, WWE have announced their latest round of signings. They're all heading off to the Performance Center. In fact, they're there right now, including some notable names, 2 former Impact Wrestling stars. Andrew, tell us a little bit more.
Well, you may have heard of them, like you said. We've got Desmond Xavier, and we've got Zachary Wentz, obviously a part of the Rascals, who have just recently departed from Impact Wrestling. And here they are, they're in the Performance Center.
2/3 of them, though. There's a notable name missing there, obviously. Trey Miguel, is not part of this Performance Center class. I'm actually a little bit gutted about the fact that the Rascals have just left Impact. Like, I wish them every success. They're so unbelievably talented, but we're now just talking about bloody AEW Impact Wrestling Dream matches. And as far as 3-on-3s, like there's a load that springs to mind there, and I'm just a little bit sad about that, because we probably won't see a lot of these pop up even in NXT for maybe a year or so. They tend to stick around in the Performance Center for a while before they make it to NXT TV. And obviously they're not running house shows at the moment, so they won't get the live event experience. Anyway, next up, Alex Brandenburg, who competed under the name Alex Zane on the independent scene. You may also remember him from Balls of Steel. I'm sure it's the same guy. He's from... It's a bit silly. He wrestled for GCW, Black Label Pro, and Ring of Honor, and he's been wrestling for 15 plus years.
And we've got Sujiro Higuchi. I think that's how you pronounce it. Awful with stuff like that.
I said that, so I just went, yeah, that's it. Like,
that's the one.
Yeah.
Well, we all know Adam Pacitti for his fantastic pronunciation of Japanese wrestlers, don't we? Come on now. Anyway, Higuchi, a 26-year-old wrestler from Japan who was trained by former United States champion, former WWE Tag Champion, the Big Taj, the Big Tajiri. That's the one.
Big Tajiri. Yeah.
He's huge. He's
really intimidating.
What a unit.
Actually.
He is pretty intimidating. He's got the kicks. He's got the mist. He's all about that. Anyway. And Higuchi has competed for Wrestle One and All Japan, so that's pretty cool.
Very nice. We've also got Anriel Howard, who played college basketball at Mississippi State and Texas A&M, and she was part of the 2019 WNBA draft and played professionally for the Seattle Storm.
And then finally, we have Russ Taylor of Phelan, California. Brings plenty of global experience to the WWE PC. Taylor has competed for WXW in Germany, as well as in Japan and across the United States as well. So we've got a nice collection of lovely boys and girls, a nice variety, so to speak, here in the WWE PC.
Right here in the WWE PC, which is where we're filming from right now. Where the hell's Trey? I want Trey. I don't know. Maybe he'll pop up in AEW Impact. There were reports circulating that both WWE and AEW were interested in all of the Rascals, those little tykes. So maybe he'll pop up elsewhere. Time will tell. Next up, Mike Chioda. It really works well on Zoom, doesn't it?
Thanks.
So yeah, Mike Chioda obviously has popped up in AEW recently after being released by WWE after a hell of a long time. He was with them for so long, like almost 35 years, I believe. And he's refereed for a couple of matches on AEW. The Cody Rhodes versus Scorpio Sky for the TNT title and Cassidy Jericho as well. And then he was at Full Gear also for Rhodes and Darby Allin. So he's popped up on AEW, but it's not believed that he signed a full-time contract with AEW. But he's been speaking on his podcast, Mailbag Monday with Mike Chioda. Fantastic name. What did he say, Andrew?
Let me tell you what he said. I got a big old paragraph here to tell you, lad. I got a big old paragraph here. He said, I can't say Vince didn't reciprocate loyalty. Vince, Linda, Shane and Stephanie gave me loyalty for 35 years. That's a long, long time. I don't know where the loyalty went at this point, but it is very disappointing. They couldn't find a spot somewhere to let me retire after all these years in the best company, the only company I have ever been with in 35 years. For 35 years, he's saying 35 years, hammering home that fact there. But good on him as well, because it is a very long time. For 35 years, I always thought this company did it the right way in the professional wrestling business around the world. To be honest with you, it breaks my heart a little bit. I'm annoyed and frustrated why he couldn't finish off my career. If they wanted me to retire in 6 months, I would have said, yeah, hey, we're going to need you doing this over here or training. Let me read that again. I'll be better. Hey, we're going to need you doing this over here or training referees or mopping floors, whatever. I don't know if it really came from Vince. I can't honestly say it did, but it happened. It's a little frustrating. So,
I mean, I feel like it must have come from Vince. Like, he has final say. If it's such a long tenured employee,
yeah,
that's got to be a Vince call. Every call is a Vince call. At the end of the day, he runs the company, and it is heartbreaking to read that. Yeah, he said that he'd have been happy like training referees or even mopping floors. He spent pretty much the entirety of his adult life giving to WWE. For my money, he's a future Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
I'd like to think so anyway, because he's just given so much. He's been part of so many memorable matches and was always just fantastic at his job. Fingers crossed he gets signed elsewhere, because he you know what, I've listened to the podcast, and he comes across as the most likable, wonderful man with a wealth of experience who would give so much to any promotion. Any promotion would be lucky to have him. So it's really it's to hear that he was really heartbroken by the release. It's not surprising, but it's very upsetting.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, pretty much just echoing what you said. He's been with the company for so long, done so many incredible matches and things like that. Like, it seems weird. I mean, lots of weird things have happened this year, especially with all the releases and furloughs and things. And it's just such a shame. You'd have thought maybe they'd have kept someone like him on with his prestige in what he does in the referee sphere and everything.
One of the best ever. So go and listen to his bloody podcast, because it's really good, really good. And finally, from Fightful Select, we have an idea of the scrapped plans, the original plans for Chelsea Green on the main roster. So, just to get you up to date, I'm sure you already know, she got called up to SmackDown, called across to SmackDown, sorry. But in her debut match, she had to be pulled out of it because she broke her wrist. The original plan was for her to win that match, and be a part of Team SmackDown at Survivor Series. But plans were changed, obviously, due to the broken wrist, and she's going to be out for a little while. Also, she was apparently going to be called Victorious. They were going to rebrand her. After that match, she was going to rebrand herself, basically. In a backstage promo, she was going to, I am now victorious. Genius stuff. But what was the original plan? What was the scrapped plans, in fact, for Chelsea Green?
So according to Fightful Select, we got a quote here that says, we've been digging even more about Chelsea Green and her not being used prior to her ill-fated SmackDown debut. And a pitch that was going around about her. Originally, a big push was made and plans were put in order for Chelsea Green to almost emulate Mickie James' 2005 to 2006 obsessed fan storyline with Trish Stratus. Doesn't this already sound great, Adam? Let me continue. The story had a pretty solid plan, and we're told that several in creative were very excited about it, but it inexplicably got scrapped. I don't know why. Not a clue. The story that we've heard would have had Mickie James. The story that we've heard would have had Mickie James put in Trish Stratus' shoes from 15 years ago. What?
Literally.
Literally. It went a lot further than a pitch. We're told that Mickie James and Chelsea Green had actually filmed content to start the angle. Everything was a go, and plans were abruptly changed only hours before it was set to air. Green didn't appear on TV for months after. I mean,
I'd really like the original, and I think they would have made it work. Obviously, Mickey's been out with injury a fair bit this year, and now, well, it's the same for Chelsea, unfortunately. I think they would have made it work, because Chelsea's character work is really strong. And it sounds really silly on paper, but genuinely, I think they might have just about pulled that off. And it would have been nice for Mickie to have a big storyline, because she sort of gets lost in the shuffle a bit in recent years anyway, since her return. And she's still really good. She can still go, and I really like Mickie James. I like both of them. So yeah, I'm actually a little bit sad that was scrapped. Maybe we'll get it, but with Victorious. We'll see. Anyway, that's your lot for today. Andrew, how are you feeling? Are the nerves gone?
A little bit, yeah. I'm still feeling it a bit. This head has probably got shinier as the news video has gone on.
Got any sanitizer to hand? Maybe you could whack a little.
What?
Have you got some?
What's this?
Wait a second.
This wasn't even planned.
No, it wasn't. No. What's
this?
How convenient. If you want to whack a little bit of that on the old head, because it's.
So what we like to do on the Twitter, a little bit, he says, this always happens a little bit, and then there's just a swimming pool full of.
We're getting an award for this, by the way. This is safety in the workplace. WWE got one. Cultaholic's about to win.
Not only that, we're probably about to be demonetized as well for this. For this sexual stroking. But what we like to do when we do it, we sing the Okie Doke song. Do you want to sing the Okie Doke song, Adam?
Mate, I don't know it.
Problem and you need a helping hand. Cross the dell and ring the bell, you'll understand. Don't worry, cause here comes Stroke the Oak. And then you stroke the oak, Adam. That the friendliest of oaks is Mr. Stroke the yoke. There we go.
The best plug for the Twitch channel ever. So if you enjoyed that, get help, but also subscribe to the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Cultaholic. You will see more of Andrew on there every Monday, but also you're going to see Andrew on Friday for our NXT predictions. And tune into the live stream on Sunday as well. Andrew, any final thoughts?
It's going to be a cracking weekend of people cracking each other's heads open. That's what it's going to be.
He's done it. Just remove any heaters from ringside.
Yes,
That's very
no
important.
heaters.
Safety
Too hot.
first.
Yeah.